Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In today's tutorial we're going to continue from the previous tutorial, and this time we're going to start the process of what it's going to take to add media from the media pool that we have selected based on the marker list in the embedded markers to the timeline. We're not actually going to get it added to the timeline in this tutorial, but we're going to go through and look at the basics of some of the stuff that's needed. For example, I need to know where to add the media, so what tracks do we put it on? That's just one example, and so let's take a look at what kind of additions we need in order to add it from the media pool onto the timeline. And then in the next tutorial we'll actually get to where we add some of the media to the timeline. So let's see how this is done. If we go back and look at our screen, I've added a label here called video track and a label here called audio track, and then we have two combo boxes. This is CMB video and CMB audio, and this is, I'm going to list all of the tracks here, and this is where we're going to select the track from or tell it to add a new track. What we need to do is this does not need to be visible, for example, when selected events is chosen, because when we click on marker under selected events, it just jumps to that marker location. But if we're under media pool or selected in media pool, then we need these new pieces to be visible so that when we click on one of these markers, we know the media to add to the timeline and where to add it. So these will tell us where to add it on the timeline once we click over here to add it. So now what I needed to do is say if one of these is clicked, what do I need to do to these pieces? Do they need to either be visible or not visible? And so let's take a look at that. Here I have, if the RB selected events checked changed. This says, is it checked or is it not checked? If it is checked, then I'm going to change the label 1 visible to false, the label 2 visible to false, the audio combo box to false, and the video combo box to false. If the media pool button, the check changed, if it is checked, then I want to change the label 2, audio combo box and video combo box to true, because we want them visible at this time. And then I'm going to tell it to load the track list. So we have just made them visible. Now let's load the tracks that is in the current project so that we know where they can be added. And then the RB selected media check changed. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did just above. If it is checked, then we make them all visible and we load the track lists. So let's scroll up just a little bit and we'll look at our load track list. The first thing I'm going to do is take the two combo boxes and clear them of any items that had been previously added. So that way, if we've gone into this list multiple times, then we don't have the same tracks listed over and over again. Plus, this is useful if we change project. Now, the first thing I'm going to add to each of those combo boxes is new video track or audio track that will allow us to tell the script we want to put a new one in there. And then I go through each track from myvegas.project.tracks. First thing I'm going to do is create me a string, which I call track info, and I'm going to put in the display index, then a colon, and then the track name. The current project that I'm using has no track name, so by putting the track index in there, I can easily tell which track I am selecting. So if this is a video track, then I'm going to add this track to the CMB video. Otherwise, I'm going to add it to CMB audio. So we just take our CMB video.items.add and then we add that track info. And then the first thing I'm going to do here is select this video.selection index to 0 so that an item is selected. And same thing on the audio, I'm going to CMB audio.selected index equals 0. And that will actually make these, the new video track and new audio track, automatically be selected. So now that we have them becoming visible and invisible, and we're filling them up, let's see how that works. So we have to build our solution. Then let's copy it over. Now we'll open the project we've been using. You notice these are not visible. Actually, when I created the items, I told them to be not visible by default because I knew selected events was going to be selected. If we click on Media Pool, it becomes visible. If we click on Selected in Media Pool, it becomes visible. If we click on Selected Events, they become invisible again. So if we go to Media Pool, now let's look at our drop-down list. You can see new video track is selected. If we do the drop-down, this one has 3 video tracks, tracks 1, tracks 2, and tracks 3, and we're using the same numbers that are in the track headers to make them easy to identify. And then down here we have new audio track, and then this one only has 1 audio track, and it happens to be track number 4. So now we have the actual controls in there that we made visible or invisible depending on the mode that we're in, and it will tell us where to place the new media on the timeline if we are adding the new media. So now that we have the controls in there telling us where to put it, the next step is going to be actually adding it to the timeline. And we'll look at that in the next tutorial. So like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.